Morning, folks. Hope you're all well. How are we all today? We look to see who's in. Mary McDonald, the other Davy, Peter M, Melanie, Lorna, June, Desiree, with Pet, Aki's, Hootsman, Christina, with Pet, Scott, sunny in Lanark at the moment, is it? Hi, Anna. Hi, John. Right, that's everybody so far. Let's scroll down. Hi, John Baxter. Hi, William. Right, the cat's in my lap, but they will just need to walk around about him. He'll peeve off shortly. All right, we'll give a few minutes for a few men to get in. Hi, Kirsty. Hi, Harry. Hi, John Baxter. Hi, look, Andy. Morning, Jodie. Where are we? 76, we're getting there. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Robert. A few more seconds, then we'll go on. Bob from sunny Aberdeen here. Hi, George. Right, we're almost there, so let's get this thing underway, okay? It's Indy Truck Davy with the truck and app home in his office in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire, where it's no bad, 15 degrees, partially sunny is what it tells me in the forecast. High today will be 18 degrees, mostly cloudy, no rain in the forecast, so rain. Humidity is at 88%. Wind speeds gusting up to 32 kilometres an hour, or roughly 20 mile an hour if you're old school. And the pollen count is low. Okay, and the main allergen is grass. So that's the weather for here in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire. If you want to know what the weather's like where you are, look out your own bloody window. Okay, aye, hit the like button, please, folks. Right, here we go. First up this morning, we have the Scotsman. We'll put it up. And the first couple of papers are on non-stories today, folks, but that's just the way it is, really. Right, here we go. The Scotsman. Right, let's get squared up with this thing. And what the Scotsman tells us, alarm as 1 in 20 Scottish police officers set to retire, under pressure forced to suffer immense loss of experience. Now, this story is an exaggeration, folks, and I mean an exaggeration. But we'll get a wee bit more into that when we get to the next publication, which is running the same story. Okay, so we'll take that down, get shot of it. And next up, we've got the loony right-wing knuckle-dragging rag, the Express. Now, the Express goes in the same story, and it's got shock figures reveal, scale of manpower issues looming at Police Scotland. Policing fears grow as 1 in 20 officers eligible to retire. Now, when you get into the article and you go and have a look at the actual report, folks, what it actually tells us is that 1 in 20 officers by next summer will have done the mandatory 25 years and they could retire. Now, there's a bit of debate on whether it's 25 years service or 50 years old. Well, 25 years service to make a minimum pension. All right. Now, at the moment, Police Scotland have got 16,300 and change active officers. So you get a wee bit more of that on the books, but that's the active officers. Okay. Now, if 1 in 20 of them are eligible to retire next year, that'll be 800. All right. Now, the interesting thing is, it says eligible to retire. Not all will retire. Some don't retire after 25 years service. Some going to do 30 years service. Some going to do more, depending on how their career progression has gone. Okay, so there's about 800 eligible to retire. So let's say 500 or 600 of them actually retire. Well, Tullycutry and Jackton and East Kilbride are turning out 273 fully qualified police officers a year. Sorry, Tullyallen and Jackton and East Kilbride, they're turning out 274 officers a year. So that'll replace 550 odds of the 600 retiring, if 600 do retire. So basically numbers will basically stay level. They will stay stable at roughly 16,300. So it's a non-story, an absolute non-story. But you have to see beyond the headline and say, okay then, if 800 of them will be eligible to retire next year, how many of them will probably retire? How many are coming through the training schools to replace them? I say the reason why the 50 thing is debatable, because some go beyond 50 years old because they don't join the force until late. Some of them don't come out of the army or the navy or the air force till later in life and join the police as a second career. So it's a non-story. Numbers will fluctuate slightly, but no massively. So the idea that 1 in 20 of these people are eligible to retire next year doesn't mean 1 in 20 of them will retire, but even if 1 in 20 did retire, there's enough coming through the two training colleges here in Scotland, the one at Tullyallen and the one at Jackton, to basically maintain police numbers stably. And that's why this is a non-story. The next one up's even funnier. You know, it goes at policing from a different angle. So let's get rid of the loony rag, the Express, now that I've explained that it's a non-story, and have a look and see what the Metro's got for us this morning. This one's a cracker. I love this one this morning, the Metro. This one's brilliant. It's a crime against fashion, says Watchdog. Cop gear is unfit for duty. And what it says is the trousers are too tight and, the trousers fade and they're no stretchy enough. And the jackets and fleeces are too small. There you go. Apparently the police are committing crimes against fashion by going to work in those awful uniforms, apparently. So there you go. Bit of comedy thrown in this morning by the Metro. Now the other two are screaming, panic, panic, we're going to run out of cops. And this one's saying, maybe want to upgrade their uniforms a wee bit more fashion style about it, eh? Absolutely brilliant stuff. The wonders of the press. Marvellous. Now, after that, we've got the Rancid. And I don't put the Rancid up. Now, the Rancid's on a crime story today. And it's visited after Smythe was charged. Main headline, Spy Cam MSP met girl guides at Parley. And when you get to the article, it tells us that suspended politician hosted teenage guests despite being charged for child indecent child pictures allegations. Now, apparently he hosted these girl guides in the Parliament after he'd been charged with having indecent images of children. How did that happen? How long was it before Police Scotland, the Crown and Procurator Fiscal's office, and the Labour Party made this public? Because according to their answer, this guy had already been charged and then hosted girl guides at the Parliament. That's right. The turnover at Police Scotland is only 5% a year, which is normal for any large organisation. Absolutely correct, class action. I've seen that in the report as well. I thought I'd just break it down into simple numbers, but so people could understand. But aye, the turnover is 5%. That's people leaving for all reasons. Medical reasons, mental health reasons, because they've been caught being up to naughtiness or retiring. Thanks for super chat, mate. But as I say, there's some questions to be asked here. How did Colin Smythe manage to host a group of girl guides in the Scottish Parliament after he'd been charged with holding indecent images of children? And then you find out that he'd planked a spy cam, or allegedly planked a spy cam, in the toilet in the Parliament. These girl guides had to go to the toilet somewhere. Is this how he's getting his indecent images of children? Lots and lots of questions there. Lots of questions in that headline, and they're answered today. The notion that this guy had already been charged and then was hosting girl guides in the Parliament, that means that he was charged some time ago and that there's some untruths here for the Labour Party and definitely for Police Scotland and for Colin Smythe himself. Because how long ago was he charged, and how long did it take to become known to the parliamentary authorities? Because he had time to host a group of girl guides, according to this publication. A lot of things don't add up here. Questions to be asked. There are questions to be asked. Right, let's move on. Next up, with the Herald. Clinicians call for honest debate about future of NHS. Well, Davies wrote that one right out for clinicians. Clinicians, the future of the NHS is in public fucking hands. End of debate. No more debate. Your job is to ensure that the public service and the quality of healthcare that you give is at an acceptable standard. We will decide the future of the public health of the NHS. You won't. We will. So it's an end of the debate, clinicians. It's staying in public hands. Fucking debate over. Get back to your job of delivering excellent medical care to the people of Scotland. That's the debate done. It's staying in public hands. There is no debate to be had over the future of the NHS. It's staying in public hands. Debate over. Get back to doing what you do best. Delivering top class fucking health care. There you go, Herald. That's the end of the fucking debate for your newspaper as well. The NHS is not for sale, and it's not up to clinicians to decide whether it goes private or public. The fucking debate's over. It's staying in public hands. And you can write on your hospital front door, Davies says. End of debate. Debate over future of fucking NHS. There is no debate. It's staying in public hands. End of. Next up, we have the Daily Fail, and it's on the culture wars. Nuamovsky. This could get worse. Knew we're off in one. Transrow nurse was hounded in NHS witch hunt. NHS board was a toxic workplace and in grip of delusion, tribunal told. Let me get something fucking straight for everybody here. If this tribunal hadn't come along at the time of the Supreme Court ruling on the Human Rights Act 2000 to say that it was written based on biological sex, this nurse would have their arse booted to touch by now. This culture wars crap, I didn't take it serious up until now. But this one is exploiting the fact that the Human Rights Act is based on biological sex, apparently because the fucking idiots that wrote it were still fucking Neanderthals. But I can assure you, this nurse Peggy, her arse would have been kicked right to the curb if it hadn't been for that Supreme Court ruling. But culture wars, they're no gearing up on them. And the people with trans rights are getting fucking trampled over right now. Now, as I say, I didn't take it seriously. But when you start infringing on people's rights, and you don't think everybody should have the same rights, then that's not fucking on. It just is not on. A wee bit more of that as we go further in and all. Right, let's leave the culture war behind. Or will we be? Next up, we'll get the Times. No one know. It's just taking a mere evil twist to it. We're staying on it, but... And this time it's national culture, allegedly. Refugees to be stopped bringing in their families. Well, technically, that's rubbish. That's rubbish. They're still tinkering around the edge. What they're going to actually do is they say, no, you can't bring them for a couple of years till we have a look into their backgrounds and things like that. So we're going to impose an embargo on them bringing their families in for 2 years. But I don't know how long it takes them to get a family visa. Probably about that fucking time anyway. Knowing the rate that this lot process claims. So that's the big news. They're going to make it harder for people who've been granted asylum to bring their kinfolk here. As it happens then is they take their British passport and move somewhere else and take their kinfolk there. Take that down. So Canada, watch out, they're coming. Right. Next up, we get a national. Let's see what it's got on our papers today. On my front page, sorry. Here we go. This one really pissed me off. Let's get this sorted. Sarwar admits it's genocide in Gaza as speech targeted by protesters. Well, David and I spoke about this yesterday. Is Sarwar heading for the exit door? Well, as the other David pointed out, for him to say that Israel's committing genocide, well, that could get his arse kicked out of the Labour Party. You're not allowed to say anything against the Israeli regime in the Labour Party. End of. So we could be seeing the end of Anas shortly. He might be back in a fucking dentist office somewhere around about Glasgow soon, alleviating the dentist shortage. Right, main headline. Starmer blasted for legitimising hotel demos. Right. Now, he says he wants them emptied and completely understands the concerns of those who live round about them. Basically weaponising the idea that these people are more likely to commit crime than anybody else. When we know statistically that's not true. And when you point out to them that 88% of paedophiles and sexual deviants in England and Wales are white, they go all fucking snowflake on you. But he's legitimising the idea that these people are more likely to fucking commit crimes. But the next bit is a bit that really annoyed me. Apparently, Starmer's got an England flag in his Downing Street flat, and I went, the fuck's the National telling us this for? I was telling the National the other day to grow the fuck up about flag shagging. A wee bit news for you, National. I'm not a flag shagger, and I've got at least a dozen of them here. The one behind my head right now, that was a gift for a friend. And I had a salt tire behind me before I got that Jim Angel print for a good friend. So, why the fuck's the National telling us about him having an England flag? Did they try to portray him as a right-wing knuckle-dragger? Well, he's worse than that. He's a fascist. He's gone beyond right-wing knuckle-dragger. He's managed to work his way up the greasy pole to put himself in a position to be a fascist. And he's acting like that. He is acting like that. But this nonsense, he's got an England flag. So fucking what? Right now I've got one salt tire there, one there. And I'm not a flag shagger. As I say, these were gifts for friends. So they're on display. They need to stop this shit. National, you don't own the salt tire. You don't own the St George's Cross. Fucking keep your nose out of flags. Leave that to the fucking idiots that are painting roundabouts down that road. Fuck's sake. Sometimes I think this rag has lost the plot. Who cares if an Englishman's got an English flag? That's what it's fucking for. Stupid. Much rather than an English flag than a fucking butcher's apron. Much rather they took a wee bit of pride in their land without the racism. And I like the way John Swinney's been conducting himself over the last couple of days when it comes to this stuff. When he's talking about how refugees are welcome here and we won't be intimidating them with a "you're different and we don't fucking want you" rhetoric of flags everywhere. And counter-protests against these anti-immigrant protests outside hotels have been larger than the anti-immigration protests themselves. The people are doing what I said we should do, and that's put our arms around these people and say they're the minority, fucking ignore them, we're the majority. They're creating they're creating a different class system down that road again, where asylum seekers will be second class, with second class rights. And if they're second class, with second class rights, a bit like the Scots, the Welsh and the Northern Irish, then guess what, people of England? You have no fucking rights either. Because if they can disregard their rights, they'll disregard yours. When they're finished with the asylum seekers, and they turn on the Welsh, the Scots, and the Irish, they are going to eventually turn on yous. Because you'll be all that's fucking left for them to turn on. Right, so that's the National, let's get it done. But the National needs to stop this flag shagging shite. And I mean that sincerely. Huh? The Yes movement don't own the fucking salt tire. The far right down that road don't own the St George's Cross. Get a grip, National. After the National we have the I believe it is. So let's pop it up. What's the I go for? Starmer seizes grip of budget after Treasury mistakes hit Labour in the polls. Rachel for accounts, no. She's being sidelined, folks. Let's put it this way. But the headline in the next one It's a fucking doozy. And I mean it. So let's get the Guardian up. Wait, you see this headline. This one is a doozy. Oh no, it's not this one, it's a Telegraph, I think. PM tries to regain policy control from Treasury in number 10 shake-up. Basically what he did was he drafted in a chief undersecretary to the Treasury into his office to run his staff, and he also hired an ex-governor of the Bank of England, ex-deputy governor of the Bank of England, to give him more control over the Treasury and more control to put his stamp on the budget that's coming up, as opposed to Reeves' stamp, which has been sticking to these fiscal rules. So we'll see how this goes. But these headlines about Starmer seizing control gets even funnier when we get to the Telegraph, I think it is. With the Telegraph. Next up, that's the Telegraph. This one's a cracker. I like this one. Rachel for accounts is not going to like it, but I like it. Smiling through the pain. Reeves puts on brave face, being frozen out by Starmer, whose cadre of left-leaning financial experts will now oversee budget. So, ex-Treasury Undersecretary Darren Jones, who's on the right of the Labour Party, he's a screaming loony leftist, is he? And of course, the other appointment that Starmer's made to beef up his economic team is Baroness Shafik, who was ex-deputy governor of the Bank of England. And I can assure you folks, you can Google Baroness Shafik. She's not known to be a rabid, loony leftist. I can assure you of that. Baroness Shafik is definitely not on the left of politics either. But according to this rag, Starmer's surrounding himself by loony leftist economists. You couldn't make it up until you have a look at who's appointed. Darren Jones on the right of the Labour Party and Baroness Shafik. Look it up yourself, folks. The left of loony leftist economists. Yeah. Now, it would have been fair comment if she'd actually hired somebody like Richard Murphy. Sorry, if Starmer had actually hired somebody like Richard Murphy, who is sort of on the left of politics. Not that far left, but left. Okay, let's take that down. So it would appear that Rachel for accounts is back being the tea lady again. So there you go. Thank you very much, John. Thank you, you're a star, dear boy. Right, next up we've got the scum. We don't put the scum up. So what's the scum go for us today? It's got a celebrity story. Celebs won't last. Strictly fat jab. Celebs won't last. Strictly fat jab. Alert. Now apparently 5 of the contestants that are vying to go on to Sickly Come Dancing this year are on fat jabs. And it's a celebrity version. So apparently 5 of the celebs try to go on or involved in the celebrity thing. I don't watch it. I don't watch television, as you know. Apparently they're on the fat jab and they ain't going to cut it because they ain't fat enough. Okay. What's the star go for us today? Well, let's get rid of this. I have to say the star's highly disappointing today. It's also on a celebrity story. but I haven't got a Scooby who this so-called celebrity is. Because I don't do much in the way of popular culture, and television's definitely out the fucking window. When they put it on, when they let it bleed into my brain. Anyway, let's see what the stars go for us today, shall we? And the stars telling us that there's still perverts in TV. Star TV set horror, Emily might grope hell. I have no idea who she is. I have no inkling of what programme she's on, and I really couldn't give a shite. So if you're interested in that story, look it up, because I was not. Yes, Kevin. It started in the papers yesterday, if you noticed, with the lies about the fucking frigates that are never going to be built because it's taken them 7 years to build the first one that doesn't fucking work. Another interesting thing, folks, the jets that are now on the HMS Prince Charles, the aircraft carrier, guess what? We don't own them, they're leased. The story's in declassified. That's also, the story was put out there with Craig Murray. And when it comes to that sort of research, Craig's quite good. You know. But so we'll get broken ships that nobody's going to fucking buy. It's all bollocks. The oil's running out within a couple of years again. Wow, we must be needing an indie ref. And Rachel for accounts is back making fucking tea and coffee. There you have it. That's it for the day, folks. Smash that like button and away out the door, please. It helps the algorithm. Jabba Bailey going on strictly. Who you try to kid? Spanner Mac. You would need to move the whole Greg's factory to the bloody place. It's not going to happen. Right. That's it for the day. Look after yourselves. Look after each other. Watch Independence live. Reagan Elite's going live right after this and all. That's it. See you tomorrow morning. But the other David will be with me. And I might even have this camera changed back. I've got another one on its way. Bye for now.